guys, this is the recording for Monday, and that's March 8th. And so you can see from my screen, we did phase change 2.1. And the first thing is a really important kind of diagram that brings everything together. We're really focusing today on our different energies. And so we know that we have our different phase changes, our freezing, condensing, evaporating, and melting. But what we really need to make a relationship between is how the substances are heating up or getting colder and what's happening with our energy transfer. And so we know freezing is going from liquid to solid, and condensing is going from gas to liquid. And so that is when a substance will cool down. And if something's cooling down, that means that that energy is going out of the substance. It's losing energy and passing it on somewhere else. Opposite of that, we have our evaporating and our melting. So evaporating, remember, is from liquid to gas, and then melting is from solid to liquid. And this is caused by the substance heating up. So our temperature is getting hotter, causing those to change phase. And that would have energy transferring in. So you're getting more energy in, which is causing that temperature to rise, and that is what helps that phase change. And so these two top, if it wants to let me drag here. All right, so here is another diagram that shows the same thing. We have our phases and how the energy is transferred. So with melting and evaporating, we see it's transferred into the substance, and then opposite, our freezing and condensing, it's transferred out. And so what we did in class was we talked about the four scenarios that we read about last week. We had our slot canyons, our glacier caves, our Niagara Falls, and our Old Faithful. And we talked about the phase change that happened. And so slot canyons, we had our clouds, which is a gas, and they changed to a liquid. Now, I'm not going to tell you the answers, but I'll remind you of what happened in each one. So slot canyons, gas to liquid. Our glacier caves, that was going to be our glaciers melting, and so that is liquid, or I'm sorry, solid to liquid. Our Niagara Falls was freezing, and so that is going to be liquid to solid. And then Old Faithful, we had our liquid, and when it heats up and goes out of the kind of ground, it turns into a gas. And then these two columns over here are what causes the water to change phase in the sim and the article. You don't really need to open up the simulation, but if you would like to, it is linked up here. But pretty much what I want you to tell me is if the water became colder or hotter, and you can see that from the image at the beginning of this. And then if that energy is coming in or out. And like I said, the picture at the top, up here, will help you fill that in. Once you have that filled in, the other thing down below is going to be modeling tools. And what you're going to do is you're going to do each of these modeling tools and take a screenshot and put the screenshot in the box over here. And so I will click on Slot Canyon because I have already done that one with my other classes. And you'll see each of these is hyperlinked. And so you're going to do 4 different ones because each one is linked to a special tool for that scenario. So each one has its own, so there's going to be 4 total. And when you click on it, you're modeling the phase change itself. So you want to think about what phase it started in and then what phase it ended in. And you're also thinking about our different phase changes depending on like our liquids. Our liquids, we know the molecules move around each other. Our solids have our molecules moving in place and things like that. And so it's loading here. So this is the one for slot canyons, and I thought it was done, but it's not. So the idea is you need to think about the phase in the beginning and then the phase at the end. So I know that in the beginning it is a gas, and gases are usually a kind of a hotter and more energetic substance. And so I will go here, and then I'm going to click phase is gas, and we know gas has movement away from each other. So down here, and then oops, it has no visible shape. And that's pretty much it. And then you're going to put another one down here, and that's going to be the end phase. So we know it went from gas to liquid. And I know that my liquid moves around each other, and it flows, and it takes the shape of its container, and it stays at the bottom of the container. And so there's multiple things you might end up checking. And then it also wants you to put the arrow showing the change in energy. So is that energy flowing in, or is that energy flowing out? And so you're going to see that obviously it is getting from a gas to a liquid. And we are going to show that the energy, we're going to put an arrow, you're going to drag and drop the arrow. Oops, it did not like that. Oh, there it went. So you're going to drag and drop the arrow, and then you see this red shape shows up here, and you're going to talk about the energy being transferred in or out. You can see you can drag one of these over. I'm not going to tell you which one, because that is the whole point of the lesson today, is figuring out how our energy transfers. But you can see, depending on if you think it's coming in or out, you drag that here, then you're done, you screenshot it, and you put it in our grid. And you'll do one for each of those. And remember, separate modeling tool for each one. So you're going to click on each one of these hyperlinks. And that's it.